Hey gang, here I am working on my pull list for November 2020, working out of the previews catalog, and we are at this point looking at Dark Horse Comics. Now, here's the exciting thing. I will actually be buying more Dark Horse Comics in November than either Marvel, DC, or Image. Now, I have been buying comic books since the mid 70s. So, for as long as Dark Horse has been around, and I have never bought more Dark Horse comic books in a month than Marvel or DC. So, which Dark Horse comic books do I think are going to be great? Stick around and find out. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghala. My name is Duke, and this is the Pull List. And that's when I work on my advance order at my local comic book store, working on books that will be published in November of 2020. I'm filming this September 20th. So, I choose about 2.5 months in advance what books I want to buy. I'm working on Dark Horse right now, as I've noted, and we'll go through this. I'll let you know what I will be buying, what I'm passing on, or in other words, what I think is going to be great, and what I'm going to tell you will suck balls and you should pass on too. So, if you like what I have to say, like, share, subscribe, do all the groovy things, comment down below. You know what? Even if you don't like what I have to say in this video, hey, great. Any interaction will help build this channel because it's a new channel, and right now I'm just trying to convince the algorithm that I exist. So even if you hate what I have to say, but you know what? Even if you do disagree with me, that can maybe be instructive, as far as what impressions are out there among collectors. Like I said, I've been buying for a long, long time. So if I think something about a book, odds are there are others who are thinking the same thing. And maybe Dark Horse, you need to publish something different or work on your marketing. Here's something I will not be buying: Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons, number 1 of 4. And this is by Jody Houser. Jody has been doing some other Stranger Things books. I tried one of them, and I just didn't like it. And that was against my better judgment because I do not usually buy things that start in other media and then are adapted to comic books. Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who. I usually don't go in for that kind of thing, in large part because I've learned over the years that you get invested in the comic book, and then the next movie or the next season of shows completely invalidates everything that I've read in the book. It's not canon. It doesn't count. So this purports to be the story of how 3 of the boys met. Oh God, I'm blanking on their names here. It's how Mike, Lucas, and Will bond with Dustin for the first time. Dustin. But, is that going to count? I mean, does Jody Houser have enough of an in that that's going to really matter? Or will the next season completely, wipe out whatever you read here? The other thing, again, the previous book I read by Jody Houser, it was just so completely decompressed, written as if she thought she was writing an episode of the TV show, and scripting out each scene, each camera movement, beat by beat, which is not at all how you should write a comic book. And so I ended up reading that book in like under 7 minutes. It was like 6.5 minutes. I'm sorry, but when you pay $4 for a comic book that reads in 6-7 minutes, that's not a good entertainment value at all. I mean, phone sex, buy some porn, that's better uses of your dollar. And here's another Stranger Things books, also by Jody Houser, Stranger Things Science Camp. Seems they're going all in at Dark Horse for Stranger Things, and that's probably what I would do too, if J.K. Rowling had been in for it, at DC Warner. If I was the publisher, I would have done nothing but Harry Potter books. I would have brought back the books of magic and told you it was a Harry Potter book. So yeah, I can't blame them, but I haven't thought the books are that good, and so they're not for me. And that's what it boils down to. Jody Hauser is not for me. Cyberpunk doesn't speak to me. Maybe that's your thing. It's good that it's out there. Resident Alien. Talk about decompression. We've got a full page here. Nothing really happens. Character gets out of bed and he says strange things are going on. This whole page could have been done in like 1-2 panels right there. So my fear with this book is that $4.99, it's 32 pages. Dark Horse doesn't have much advertising, so it's probably going to be about 23 pages of story. But that's another thing I'm going to read in, let's say under 10 minutes. And not much will actually happen. So I'm not going to take a chance on that. The Witcher. Okay, so this is another thing adapted from other media. And ordinarily wouldn't be for me, but this one doubly is not. I didn't like The Witcher TV show. I seem to be the only one who thinks this. If you agree with me, please, I could I could use the support. Say so in the comments below. But I probably watched about half or 3/4 of the first episode of The Witcher, and it did not transport me into that world. It just felt like something that was trying so hard. So I never got immersed into it. I never lost my suspension of disbelief. I just felt like I was watching a TV show. It's kind of like the Swamp Thing show that was on the DC Universe app. I never for a moment did not feel like I wasn't on a TV set watching people make a TV show. And that's how it was with The Witcher. I just couldn't get into it. Is that 1 page? No, that's just one. Bob Aurelian Red Planet looks kind of interesting, as does Colonel Weird. Cosmogog. What a great title, right? But these are both part of Jeff Lemire's, what is the name of that universe? Black Hammer. His Black Hammer universe. And I didn't get in at the beginning of that. And so I'm kind of afraid now that, what's my entry point? Am I going to have any idea what's going on? Is any of it actually going to mean anything to me? And the other thing, too, is Jeff Lemire kind of runs hot and cold for me. Really, the only thing I've liked of his was his run on Green Arrow. And in retrospect, I think that might have been largely because of the artist, Andrea Sorrento. Is that the name? Everything else from Lemire has run pretty hot and cold. And I'm still kind of pissed off at his Legion story that he did, because I'm a real big fan of the Legion of Superheroes. And I thought he just bungled that absolutely completely. So I've got kind of a mad on for Jeff. So screw it. That's my feeling on that. Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy. Now, that said, I did try this, and I've been liking it okay. I've stuck with it for the whole 6 issues. Interesting that I guess that's advanced solicited, so I guess I can see the trade being solicited here the same month. Umbrella Academy, I missed that completely when it first came out in comics. I love the TV show, although probably more correctly, I just love number 5. The Umbrella Academy for me should be titled The Amazing Adventures of Number 5 and also his siblings that sometimes do semi-interesting stuff. So I could go for the number 5 show. But the thing about the comic, and the reason why now that I know about the Umbrella Academy, now that it's on my radar, the reason I don't go in for it is because Gerard Way. I tried his Young Animal books at DC, did not like really any of them. And so I'm just like, I'll stick with the show, thanks. X-Ray Robot, I've been buying that. Michael Allred is the reason. Norse mythology. Neil Gaiman, Pete Craig Russell. How could you go wrong there? Hellboy, Mike Mignola, but just the writing and the covers. So, Hellboy, again, that's another one that, I've talked about how I don't normally go in for comic book adaptations of other media. There are certain things like Umbrella Academy, like Hellboy, that I kind of like the other media better than the books. I know a lot of people love Hellboy in the books and Mike Mignola. Um, but that all kind of came out during a period when I lived far away from a comic book store, couldn't get to a comic book store very often, and I just kind of missed the boat on Hellboy. And I like the movies, or I guess I should say I liked the first movie. The second one was kind of okay, and I still haven't seen the third one. But I'm just not. I'm not going to drop something so I can buy Hellboy unless Mignola's doing everything. Alien, the original screenplay. Okay, well, good for you if you enjoy that. Assassin's Creed Valhalla doesn't speak to me. Spy Island, don't know anything about it. Doesn't speak to me. Bang, I did try that. It's on 505. I haven't read any of it yet. A little during the COVID thing, I got a little behind on my comic book reading. I was lucky. I never had to stop working at all during it. But I did get into like gardening, some prepper apocalypse stuff. I turned out to be a very bad gardener and didn't get much of a yield, but I was a little busy with other things. Didn't have a lot of time for reading comic books this summer. I got way behind on my reading. So I don't normally wait until a series is complete before I read it, but I have in this case. And who knows, had I been reading this, I might have dropped it along the way, but I will be getting that. The Orville, now this is kind of an exception to the rule. I have been getting, and I do like the Orville comic books. Maybe that's because the Orville episodes are so few and far between. I'm not convinced we are ever going to get season 3. And because there does seem to be some canonization, if that's the right word, of the Orville. There seems to be kind of like Firefly, that there is some connection between the creators of the show and the comic books. So I don't feel like what goes on in the comic book is never going to matter or is going to get invalidated. And again, because I'm not sure that I'm going to get my Orville fix. I'm not sure if or when that itch is going to get scratched again. So I do like that. And here's another exception to the rule. Bill and Ted Are Doomed. And this I went in for because of Evan Dorkin. Omnibus. I'm not going to be able to fit an omnibus into my pull list. Same thing here with these other books. 47 Ronin, Atomic Legion, Disney Princesses, Saver. Cycle of the Rat. I don't even know what that is. This looks like manga stuff. I've never been in a manga, and that's it. I guess that's it. So again, I will be getting 6 Dark Horse books in November, and those are boom, boom. Just to run it down again for you. Where do they all go? So Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy, X-Ray Robot, Norse Mythology. Bang, Orville, and Bill and Ted Are Doomed. So there's 6. And that is more than I will be getting from either Marvel or DC or Image. So the company I will be ordering the most from in November is, in fact, Dark Horse Comics. So what do you think of that? Next up, we will be doing Boom, Dynamite, and IDW. We'll do all of those in one video. That'll be easy because I'm not buying anything from any of those companies. That'll just be ragging on why I think everything they put out sucks. So if that sounds appealing to you, come back for the next video. But until then, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.